Hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now. What's happening, fam? How we doing tonight? How are we doing? Hey, I've got a special guest on the line with me on tonight, and I've talked about this young gentleman a few times, and I got Miss Nicole with us also. But I've talked about this gentleman on several occasions. We have been going back and forth. I've been trying to get him here with us so you guys can hear his story also. Because the one thing I don't like to do is I don't like to tell other people's stories because I always get it wrong. I like for people to tell their story and so you can hear it firsthand. But we're talking to Philip Vance. He is right now you're in Rush City, Philip?
Yes, sir.
Right now, Phillips is in Rush City. He's in the prison right now in Rush City. And that's who we are have the opportunity to speak with. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna shut my mouth and I'm gonna let Phil tell y'all his story. I've only heard his story from what I've read and what Nicole had told us, but tonight we get to hear it firsthand. So Philip, go ahead and introduce yourself, young man, and tell us whatever you want to tell us. The floor is yours.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to come on your show. My name is Philip Vance. I'm 44 years old. I've been incarcerated wrongfully for the last 22 years here in Minnesota. I moved here from Florida at a young age in my teens. And, around the age of 22 years old, I was actually arrested and charged with a gun possession, and that led into being investigated about a murder, and I had nothing to do with this murder. I've seen the police numerous times coming to investigate me about it. I told them over and over that I had nothing to do with it, and they continued to press me about it. I gave them my alibi that night, where I was that night. They didn't believe it. They didn't want to believe it. And, they just continued to pursue me. I never knew that I would be charged with the murder because I figured there was no way I could be charged with something I didn't do. So I figured that they would figure out that I didn't do it, and life would go on for me. But that wasn't what happened. I ended up getting charged with the gun that I actually got caught with, and from there on, I got indicted federally. I was convicted federally, and I was put sent to a federal prison. And from there, I did a year. And after I got out, the day I was supposed to be released from federal prison, they came and charged me February 13, 2004, with a murder. And while I was in the county fighting this murder case, I didn't know, like, the year prior that I was in the federal prison, that they had been basically setting things up to set me up, talking to people and setting the case up. They had been talking to different witnesses and different people I was incarcerated with that year. And, they offered a lot of people deals and different opportunities to, make lies about me in court and say things that I didn't say. And, this was the Minnesota Gang Strike Force. They did their homework, and they did a lot of legal things. There was no evidence that linked me to the crime. There was no witnesses that linked me to the crime, to the scene. There was no ballistics, no DNA, no gun found, no anything. All they used was circumstantial evidence. They just used a lot of witnesses that they knew from the past or that had been already informants with them, and they used them to tell a court that at one point in time when we were in each other's presence that I confessed to killing somebody that I didn't. And, maybe 6 or 7 police came to my trial. They testified that they heard me speaking to a witness through a recorded conversation, but when they was asked to play the recorded conversation at trial, they didn't have the recorder. They said They were unable to record the conversation, but yet a judge still allowed 6 policemen to testify that they heard me make these incriminating statements. They used an informant to say that I made these statements. Then they used like 7 or 8 guys that I was incarcerated with previously, and they used their testimony to say that I told them that I was involved in this murder, and they convicted me. They gave me a life sentence. I was 23 years old then. Like I said, I'm 24 years old now. I mean, I'm 44 years old now, and I've been locked up half my life. I've just been fighting this. And, all the time I try to tell people that, I was set up, and, these police that sent me to prison, they was corrupt, and there's no way that I should have been convicted. And then 5 years after I was convicted, the Minnesota Attorney General for the federal Attorney General Andrew Luger discovered through an investigation that these same police with the Minnesota Gang Strike Force, they were corrupt, and that they were in fact corrupt, like I had always said. And ever since then, every year, small fact after fact was starting to come out. People would slowly start coming out the woodwork that were on my case, expressing that, they took a deal to testify against me, the things that they testified against me. They were coerced to say, they were bribed to say, they were promised deals in their favor. And as years continue to go on, 1 turned to 2, 2 turned to 3, 3 turned to 4. As time progresses, people grow up and people's conscience change. People start coming forward like, man, he didn't say this. I lied about this. And police told me to say this. And I lied about this, and this wasn't true. And he never told me this. And I was trying to get out of the charges I was facing. I was trying to get a less time in my sentence. So I said this. And, until today. So now I have almost every person that testified against me is recanted and admitted that they lied for different reasons. And my team, Free Philip Vance team, we fighting tough, and I'm getting a lot of attention now. But the state of Minnesota doesn't want to accept the fact that their employees, which are police officers, did something to this magnitude that put me in prison wrongfully for half my life. And it's something that I asked that, the governor, Keith Ellison, and anybody in the position of power to look into. I've been fighting for 22 years, and I continue to fight. I have a great team who supports me, and we're just going hard.
Now, how old were you again when you went in? You said 22?
I was 22 years old, yeah.
So you was 22 when they got you on a gun charge, right?
Yeah.
And while you're in prison on a gun charge, they were looking into trying to find someone for a murder.
Initially they wanted to charge me, but I had no criminal history. I had nothing on my record. So the reason why I wasn't even a felon, so having a gun wasn't it just wasn't registered.
Okay.
So if they was to charge me state-wise, it would be a gross misdemeanor. I would be released.
That's
they wanted
right.
to keep me in jail. They didn't want me out. So they made it a federal charge. And that kept me in jail.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Go ahead. If this phone hang up, I'm going to call you back.
Yeah. No, I'm used to this because I've got another friend of mine that's in prison in New York.
Yeah.
And I usually have him on Sundays. So
okay.
Go ahead. I tell you what, go ahead on.
Let me call you right back. Let me call you right back so I don't want to get interrupted. I'll call you right back.
Okay. We'll hear you on the backside.
Thank you for using GTL.
Well, hello there, Miss Nicole. How we doing?
I'm good. How you doing, Rev?
I'm not complaining at all. I am so happy to be able to have this young man on and be able to talk to him.
Yeah.
I think it's important that we get his story out there and let them know, because I mean, with Marvin, with Hayes being let out,
most recently too, Edgar Barrientos and another gentleman were also their sentences were vacated or they were exonerated through the CRU.
Yeah. Yeah.
in the last year. Yeah.
Yeah. And when he comes back, I want to get into Kathy Keenum.
Well, yeah, and you can ask him about that. We definitely, our thoughts were, we definitely wanted him to share his story, like share the facts of the case, and then maybe get into a little bit about the political motives behind his case and the delays for justice for him.
Oh yeah, 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 and that's why I brought. And like I said, that's why I brought up Kathy Keenan because I believe she wanted to try to be like what's her name,
Amy Klobuchar.
Amy Klobuchar, and use the backs of black men to get because that's how Amy Klobuchar. Let's be honest. Yeah. That's how Amy Klobuchar got to where she's at right now because Amy Klobuchar used black men, the backs of black men, to get in the position that she's in, and the black community sat back and let this woman, let this white liberal woman use black kids, put them in jail for her to get in the position that she's in. And Kathy Keenum was trying to do the same thing also. Yeah. So for us not to point those situations out, that wouldn't be right.
Yeah, he's calling back right now. Let me get him connect on. I'll connect him back on the line with you.
To monitoring and recording. Thank you for using GTL.
Hello.
All righty, we got you back.
We got you back. Yeah, the gun charge was only for federally only, so it can hold me as long as they could, and that they did. That it kept me locked up. In the process of them, the year that I did for that gun, they was investigating, trying to put the pieces to the puzzle together. And
they was looking at you while you was in. They had you locked up, which is a practice they always do all the time. Did you even know the person that was murdered? You never been around them.
Never met him. Never been to the place. Never been to the place. Never been there ever. Never heard of it. Never been there.
Why would they put that on you? What did they?
I'm still trying to figure it out. I look to this day. That's the $1 million question. The way the whole situation started, it started in a bar one night, and I don't know how much I can go into detail about it, but the person that made me a suspect is related to one of the police on my case. That's I was in a bar one night, and the barmaid, her brother was a police officer, and she called her brother that night and told him that she had heard me make some comments pertaining to a shooting. And she called him and asked him.
Philip, I want to say real quick. This is public on the petition, so you can say names.
Well, like I say, a barmaid, she made a call to her brother, St. Paul police officer, Officer McManus, and her name was Colleen McManus. And she basically called him and let him know that she had heard some comments made by me about a shooting. So he checked St. Paul and Minneapolis that night for any shootings that had occurred, any reported shootings. There were none. But then he got word back that there was a reported shooting in South St. Paul that night where a guy was killed. And from that day forward, I was the suspect.
So you was in the bar.
In the bar.
So you was in that you was in the bar, and this lady said she heard you while you're in a loud bar. She was able to hear you say that you shot somebody.
That's what she said. Yeah.
And this man, this is
and that's how it started. And from there on, I became a suspect. What's crazy about that is when the police came and got me, back in 2003, phones weren't as popular as they are now. They were a lot more expensive. Yeah. And I had a phone then, and the police. I remember when they came and got me. They asked me did I have a phone, but they already knew I had a phone. I told them I did, and from what I know now, normally the first thing they do, they check your phone records, they go check your cell tower records, they do the locator and find out where you were, making certain calls and doing all that. But for some reason, these police say they didn't do that with my phone. So it's just weird because a lot of the things that could exonerate me, they failed to do. I believe they did it, and when it showed that I wasn't where they wanted me to be, they just got rid of the evidence and told me that they didn't do it.
Now,
so I was never able to get there.
Now the person that got shot, killed, murdered, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Now, was this a high-profile person? You know what I mean? Because usually,
I don't. Not that I know of.
Okay, because usually,
I don't.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna say, like I said, I've never met the dude. I never heard of him. I never, and not to devalue his life or anything, because an innocent person's life was taken. All the information I know about him, he worked at a store. He was going to college, and he was a student going to college and just working a job, working in a store, for his family. Okay. So for what I knew, I never got any nothing that he was a high profile person at all.
And this made them like the back pages of the paper.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
So.
Oh, okay. Usually those high profile cases are the ones that the Amy Klobuchars, the Kathy Keenums, they run to those because they know that can make them into something. Like I was telling Nicole, one of the things that I know for a fact that can get them to a point to where especially when they're running for something, for an office, like what Amy Klobuchar did. The only reason Amy Klobuchar is where she's at today is because of off the backs of black people, and the black community let her get away with it. And it sounds like the same thing with the woman who put you behind bars. To me, and Nicole was talking about the political links to your case. What are those, you think?
Minnesota. I mean, we just had a serious tragedy with the loss of George Floyd recently, and that gave the state of Minnesota, the police department, a black eye. That was not a good look for Minnesota is known. You ask anybody in the world about Minnesota, and they, outside of the Vikings and the Timberwolves and the Twins, they're gonna say that's where George Floyd got killed at. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, this is yet another incident that another black eye for the state of Minnesota involving the police department. And I think that, they're trying to do their best to keep it under wraps. I think they're trying to do their best to, allow another incident of police corruption, police brutality, and just corruption of police and rogue police officers' actions to be shown again. It's not a good look for the state, and I think a lot of these politicians here, they don't like the look it does because it makes everybody look bad. I think that's what they're trying to cover up. They don't want to put it out there, but that's not justice. I thought I was guaranteed justice being an American. I was born here in America. You know what I'm saying? I'm guaranteed a due process right. I'm guaranteed equality. I'm guaranteed justice, and I've definitely not got none of that.
Right. No, and
not because I don't deserve it, but because people want to keep their job. Because people who've risen in position and power during the time I was incarcerated, because of these injustices that they rode to the top of their careers with,
Right.
Somebody got to answer for this, and don't nobody want to answer for it. That's all.
Exactly. And what a lot of people, because when we talk about police brutality, it's not just a policeman taking a baton and putting it up on side your head. It's what happened to you. How the police can take a case and make it into something that it's not. That is police brutality also. When you lay it down and you talk about it, and these DAs and prosecutors, how they can take something that's not true and get the public to believe that it's true, and then you end up on the back side of that doing time that you should not be doing. And another thing they don't understand is what you brought it up, is that task force, that gang task force, which was the most ruthless task force in the state of Minnesota at one time, to the point to where they disbanded. It was so bad they disbanded the unit. It was so bad, and that's what a lot of people don't realize, especially Republicans. They're the first ones to jump into a police car, go drive around for 2 hours, and swear up and down they know something about the police department, and swear up and down they know this about crime. But they don't realize the backside. But they do. No, let me take that back. They realize the backside of how unjustly the police department can be sometimes, right? Yeah. But you don't never hear them say that or talk about it.
No, it's bad for business.
Right?
It's not a good look.
That's not a good look. And for those who into that blue no matter what, back to blue and all this here type of stuff, they don't step back to be, and they don't get to see this stuff. They don't get to see how bad that task force was. Not only that, they won't read up on it to understand how bad that very task force that puts you behind bars, that task force is. That task force was, like, again, it was so bad they had to disband it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of people don't really take that into consideration or understand what that means. Like, they were corrupt. They had to pay out millions and millions of dollars to the people that they affected. Things that they took from people and people that they fucked over. So, excuse me for that. But,
you're good.
But they messed
you're good.
Over. All right. So right now, man, I have an amazing team. I have a great lawyer who fights tooth and nail for me. I got a lot of things going on right now. I got a big fight with the state of Minnesota because they're not ready to respond to my petition. Right now, they're stalling. My petition was filed. I want to say it's been 60 days now, and in the normal case, I would have had a response by now. I would have had to have a response by now by the state, but because of my prosecution, they have asked the judge to allow them more time. Actually, they asked for more time, and the judge gave them more time, but he didn't give them a limit of time. He just told them, go ahead, without a deadline. So right now, that's my next fight is to try to get these people to respond to my petition instead of running from it, and really stand up to the accusations that I'm accusing them of.
And I'm sure you're not going to hear anything from Kathy Keenan. I'm sure she's not. She's going to do exactly what what's her name did. I can't.
Amy.
Yeah, who Amy did, right?
She's prepping for the 2026 elections in Dakota County currently.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Kathy Keenan is currently prepping for
the.
Oh, hold on. He can't hear me. Kathy Keenan.
Hold on. I'm going to mute this side. Kathy Keenan is prepping for the 2026.
No, she's prepping for the 2026 re-election. She's trying to run again for Dakota County District Attorney. So, she's definitely trying to keep her hands clean, her name clean. And, at the end of the day, I don't think that this really had to even go this far. I believe it I believe if Captain Keener would have stepped forward and said, you know what, I didn't know these police did this. I didn't know they were corrupt, even if she did. And she said, you know what, let's fix this and make this right. I think it'll put her in a better light. But I think her silence, you know, they say silence is violence. And I think her silence shows that either she doesn't care or what she does is only for her position in life, her career. So, you know, at the end of the day, she's trying to, you know, protect her career. She's trying to protect her position in the life she's living. But at the end of the day, she's going to have the answer to...
You have 1 minute remaining.
Answer to what was done. Was done wrong to me. Hey, Tim, can I, before I get off this phone, can I give a shout out to some people?
Oh, can you log back on, or are you done?
It might be a while before I get back on. I don't know how long y'all gonna be on the phone. Or y'all gonna be on here.
Okay, all right. Yeah, go ahead and give some shout outs.
If I can call back, I will. I just want to shout out my whole Free Philip Vance team. I want to shout out, man, all the people that support me, all the people that love me, my family all over America, in Florida, North Carolina, you know, to my team, to Jason and Nikki, to everybody that showed me love, Sandra. And I want to give a special shout out to a close person to me, Stephanie. She's been on my side for a long time. She had my back when nobody else did. And I just want to let everybody know, man, I love the people that love.
Thank you for using GTL.
Okay, all right. So that was Philip that we had. That was Philip that we had on the line there. Hold on 1 second. I got my grandson's mother here is asking if I was still at the baseball field. So I was gonna see. I guess they were gonna. Okay. So, I hope he can bounce back on with us. There was a couple.
It's like 30 to 45 minutes before they get back in line, so it might be
so he's on what he's on one of those.
Yeah, they only have 10 phones in there and they got like so many guys, so he probably had to like do something special to get those calls pretty close, and now it's going to be 30 45 minutes. All
right. So yeah, that a couple of things I was going to talk to him about. But like I say, he went in at 22. He's 44 now.
He's calling me now. Hold on.
Oh,
he's calling now. I'm going to call you right back then.
So we had an opportunity to talk to Philip Vance here. Again, Philip Vance had been in prison. He went in at 22. He is 44 now. He went in for a crime that he has said over and over and over that he did not commit. The evidence on this here. Hold on 1 second. Hello? The evidence on this here.
Yo.
Something's go. There we go.
Thank you for using GTL.
Did he just? I think he just hung up.
Oh, we lost him. No,
yeah.
We lost him. Yeah, he might try back again. He had to. Nobody wants to use that bad phone because of the static, but he's going to give it a try.
Oh, that's what that back thing was. Yeah, I could hear it.
Yeah, there's a phone in there nobody will use because it doesn't. It's not clear, but he's going to give it a try.
Okay, but we're talking to Philip Vance, and again, Philip was put in prison. They got him. He had a firearm. He said he admits to that. And while they had him in prison with his firearm, say it again.
Yeah, a year before the murder occurred. Correct.
Right. And so while he's in prison, they're putting together a case on him while he's in prison of a murder that he did not commit off of hearsay. Let's make sure we understand what he just said. A waitress in a bar, crowded bar, overheard him, she said, talking about a shooting. And so she ends up calling, what was it, her brother? Was a cop? The waitress?
Yep,
so the waitress brother is a cop.
Yep.
And so
Yeah.
she calls him, right? And they put this man in jail
Yeah.
off of hearsay and tried to link him to everything.
He became a suspect. He became a suspect the first night that the murder occurred, but they didn't interview him for a month.
Oh. So now they get him, they put him in jail. They put all of this together. They go to court, say they got recordings. Now they can't find the recordings. They couldn't bring the recordings to court. But still, the judge is sitting there going, okay, we got recordings of him saying this. We're just going to have them say it and write it down, and we're going to take it as facts. So now they turn around. Now they turn around and put this man in jail. And again, and I'm going to say it again, just like Amy, this is the same thing, no different than Amy Klobuchar. Okay? Amy Klobuchar.
Thank you for using GTL.
Hello.
There we go. We got you back.
For sure, man. I just paid a dude to give me a spot. So, yeah, it's all good.
Well, we'll appreciate that. So
yeah.
we were going into, we was kind of going into what role Kathy Keenum played into this whole situation. Who is Kat? Well, tell us who is Kathy Keenum.
Man, when I think about that name, Kathy Keenum, first I think about she's the woman that sent me to prison wrongfully. She was a young, aspiring prosecutor. I think about her all the time when I think about, she had a career that she was trying to propel herself to, and I was just another person that's on the plate, to be eaten. And she did what they paid her to do. She put me in prison, and she from there she's risen up the ranks, and now she's district attorney of the Dakota County now.
She was a prosecutor. She's the one that prosecuted you.
Yeah.
Off of your case and many other cases that I'm sure black men went to prison on unjustly.
Yeah.
Kathy Keenum is now the Dakota prosecutor. So she
definitely is.
She again used you to get in the position that she's in now. It's pretty much what it turns around to be. So if somebody wanted to is listening now and they're going, this guy's been railroaded, this is wrong. What can they do, Phil? What can someone do? Can we write a letter? Can we?
Man, I'm gonna keep it real with you. If I knew, I'd have been did it. Cause like I say, I have a strong team behind me, people fighting for me, and I feel like we've done everything. That's why, which give me reason to believe that things have gotten so political now. It's not even about right or wrong anymore. To me, it's more about politics, positioning, power, image. Like I say, this makes Minnesota look bad. The government needs the regular folks like us to trust in the police system, the policemen. So when you don't trust the police, you don't trust the government. And to have the show the people that police are bad and they make bad decisions and they set people up. It's not a great look. When I went to trial, when I went to pick my jury at trial, I had one question I asked my jury, and I asked each jury, potential jury, if they believe that police will lie just to get a conviction. And out of 60 people, I had like 6 people say they did. And Kathy Keener scratched every one of them. I didn't make it all the way through to 60 people, but the people that I did make it through, about 6 people said they knew that police could be corrupt and would lie to get a conviction. And she kicked every one of them off my jury, which in return, I had a jury full of people that believed that police were good, that they did no wrong, that they were here to protect and serve, and that they wouldn't do anything wrong to secure a conviction. So when they brought all these people up, person after person, lie after lie after lie, police after police, lie after lie after lie, they just sat there and they believed everything that was said. And all I could do was sit there and just in silence and just slowly die inside, because, I could feel the energy in the room and where things was headed, because even being an innocent person sitting there, it's not about, what I learned about trials, it's not even about being innocent or guilty. It's about being whatever a prosecutor can convince the jury that you're capable of. Because they never convinced me that I was guilty of anything. What she did was she tried to convince the jury that because I was a black man in America and I came from the hood and I was in the streets, that I was capable of doing this crime. And that's what she convinced them of, and that's why they convicted me.
Well, that's what they always do. It's just like what's going on now. You're not out here to see some of the crap that they've been saying about black men. But they always been saying that about black men. I mean, Hillary Clinton called us predators. So it's not new for prosecutors, for Kathy Keenum, to paint that picture, which is easy to paint because it's always been said about especially young black men, at the end of the day. So she didn't have far to reach to get people to believe that, because they always believe that, right? They always believe that the police can do no wrong. They do no wrong until the police start putting their foot up on side their head. That now exactly. some people are going, wait a second, I have a video on my Twitter page now of a police officer murdering a white man right there, right? And that's what it's going to take for police to stop knocking us and stop beating us and start doing things to other people, for people to finally go, okay, I get what they're saying.
Hey, Mr. Tim, and I want to make this clear. I like to tell people all the time, even when I'm here at work, I'm debating with the conservatives and the guys in my job. I'm not saying all police are bad. I don't stereotype the bad with the good. I'm sure there's great police out there. I know I got family members as police officers, and they're amazing people. So I think, I think there are a lot of them. I think there are more than people believe there are. But America definitely needs to believe that police do wrong. They're human. And this is something that just happened. Something that just happens in the black community. It just happens more. It permanently happens more in our community than others, though. So,
well, when you get prosecutors who can try to use the hate from the public and the media. The media is one of the worst situations we have when it comes to painting us as evil. When you get the media behind these prosecutors, I mean, it's an easy job for the prosecutor to walk into a courtroom and paint a black kid or black man as like I said, as being evil. And they're not going to go against police. And just like you said, there are good police. I've met some awesome police officers down there down in North Minneapolis that a lot of people sit there and go, they're no good, they're this, they're that. And I meet them and I go, well, they told me you was bad, and I don't see that.
Yeah.
But there are good police officers. But here's the thing, though, Philip. Yeah. Those good police officers have to start speaking up. They've got to start saying, this dude right here don't belong amongst us. That one, they always say that 1%, that 1% needs to go. And until the good police officers say that 1% needs to go, to me, the whole field is rotten.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what's happening with the government. I presented issue after issue after issue after issue after issue about the police, what they've done wrong. I showed them a plethora of evidence of police corruption, of police lies, of just police wronging. And they all turn their head. Nobody wants to say anything. They know it's true. But if it was happening to them or their family, how would they respond? How would they react? So, I think people say, well, I had a debate at work the other day about America, how great America is, and how this is the land of the free and all this great stuff. And don't get me wrong, I wouldn't want to live anywhere on earth. America is the best country in America as far as opportunity-wise. But at the end of the day, a lot of times I feel like America, how can I say this? I feel like we were taught that we were supposed to get these rights and these justice and all these great things America's built on, but people that look like me, we don't see this. I remember as a kid growing up, for some reason, not wanting to say the Pledge of Allegiance, not wanting to stand up for the Star Spangled Banner and all that, because then as I get older, I listen to it and I look at the words and what it says. What it stands for, it doesn't apply to people of color. You know what I'm saying? And again, I know a lot of people that aren't people of color that fight hard for people of color. So I'm not saying that, America's, they don't like people of color, they don't like blacks, because I know a million of them that do. And I'm grateful for the people that do. But, America, I feel like America is, it just doesn't, to me, it doesn't live up to what the promises of the Constitution is, of justice and, like I said, of equality and everything great that it says it stands by. So I think people in positions of power need to really, work harder, doing what's right for the people. And, if you see something that's wrong or, something that's wrong, you speak up instead of holding your tongue because you want to keep your job or because you want to, you in position for a promotion or, you about to be moved up to a higher position. So, It's America, though. So, we fighting hard, though. My team, I love my team, and I love my fight. As hard and rough as my life has been, I wouldn't want to be nobody else. And, I'm grateful for the moves that we're making as a team. Man, like I said before, I came from nobody helping me, nobody even listening to my case. I had like 2 or 3 people on my side that will fight for me, that will believe in me. My mom, I had a lot of people that was close to me that didn't believe in me. And I had a lot of people that, my story sound real far-fetched. They're like, how can all these many people lie on you? Or, man, the police lie on you? The police, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just sounds like a movie. But then as the facts start coming out, I start meeting more people start hearing my story, and, I'm just grateful. You know what I'm saying? I know it's my time. I can feel it coming. And, I'm just grateful. Like I say, people who do stand up for people who've been done wrong, and people like yourself who have platforms to put things like this out to the world. So I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, it's a movie, Phil, that's been played out far too many times, right? Like I said, Myron Burrell, that's who I was thinking of, who got out of was wrongly convicted, Philip
Yep.
and Haynes, he was another one that got out, and all
I
of
did
them.
time with all of them.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
I know all them personally.
Yeah, right, and all of them been put
Yeah.
in jail by who, these white prosecutors who know they can use these cases, and that's the thing about it. They know they can use these cases to move up in the ranks. Only thing they need to do is get themselves a good case, especially against a young black man, and they can rise up like they wouldn't believe. And like I said before, we in the black community sit back and let this stuff happen, and then we'll vote for a Democrat, knowing that they have. Amy Klobuchar gets more votes from black people than anybody, but yet she has constantly put black men behind bars. That's what we do as a black community, which is crazy. Hey, you got a couple of minutes. Go ahead. You can take the floor. What?
Man, again, I shout out everybody I love. I just want to tell everybody, man, love yourself. Look into yourself. Figure out who you are. Figure out what makes you you. Be good to yourself. Be good to your neighbors. Be good to your community. Hey, man, just do what's right. Try to do the best you can. That's all you can ask people. I appreciate you for having me on your show, man.
Well, no, thank you, Philip, for coming in and giving us a rundown of everything that's going down, brother. I appreciate you. God bless you. I hope everything, we get this right, and something good comes out of this, bro.
I'll stay in contact with you.
I appreciate you. I hope you do that, man. Like I say, anytime, anytime, Nicole has my number. She know. Anytime you wanna talk, let me know. All right. I'm glad we got him on tonight. It took us a while to get this thing put together, to be able to get him on. To give him an opportunity to talk to some people. So I am happy about that. So Nicole, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to chat with him on tonight. So did you want to add anything to that, to what we talked about?
Do I need to call you on the phone to come through? Because I don't hear me.
Oh, I can hear you.
I know, but I'm wondering if I'm just in your headphones.
No, you're in my. I can take my headphones off and still. No.
Oh, no, it's okay. I just wanted to make sure, because I could hear him, but I can't hear. So I wanted to make sure. No, I just wanted to express our gratitude, solidarity. Appreciate the team, everybody on the team. Again, Jason Soul, he actually, brought me onto this case, even though, he knew the history, he knew the cases that I worked on. But I just appreciate more people listening, hearing the truth, and being interested in spreading the truth, because it blows my mind that it's so difficult for the truth to be heard. We really would like this to spread like wildfire further south in Minnesota. So if you have people that can extend this message down in Dakota County, we want people to know when, as the elections are coming, what kind of people they have to choose from in those elected offices. And what if it was their family? What if it was their,
Are you, hold on one second. Are you on, are you on mute? Are you muted over there?
No. Nope.
Because I can hear you, but for some reason, everybody's saying they can't hear you.
I'm about to call you. I'm not muted, so I don't know what's going on. That's why I said I'm going to call you. And now I'm going to mute this because...
You hear me now?
Okay.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. There's this echo. So. Hold on. Do you hear the echo?
Yes. For some reason that's echoing. Yeah,
Hold
I
on.
don't know why you.
Now, can you hear me? Oh, man.
Yeah, I can hear
Now
you.
I can't hear you. Is there an echo now?
No.
Oh, I had to turn the speakers down on my computer. All right. So what I was saying was, it's just we want to express our sincere solidarity, gratitude to you, to others that are hearing the story and wanting to, put it out there. It's in the Twin City area, but we'd really like for, more people to hear it further out down south in Dakota County and such, so that as the elections come for 2026, they know who they are voting for. And this could be your family member. This could be your son, brother, sister, daughter. It could be your kid's friend that they play on the volleyball team at the high school. You know what I mean? Could be anybody.
Which is true. And to get his story out there, that's why I was asking him if there's something that if someone's listening to this, what can we do? What can we email somebody? Can we talk to someone? I mean, the governor, email the governor, say, look at his case, or
you know what? If everybody, you got 220 viewers right now, I think I have a couple hundred. So my thoughts are, if everybody would take their time to write to Governor Walz and lift up Philip Vance's name, it's PhilipVance, and ask, why can't he press Kathy Keena's office to allow the judge to open an evidentiary hearing? The Metro Gang Strike Force was disbanded in 2009. Everything around his case is corrupt. He deserves to present his case fully with all the truths that have now been discovered, all the recanted witnesses, everything.
all right. Well, there you have it. So I did keep you for an hour.
Yeah, we got an hour in.
So that's awesome. But again, so I just want to, like I say, I just want to thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to be able to talk to him. And hopefully we can make enough noise where somebody says, you know what, enough's enough. I want to really look into this and see what's going on, and we can get some noise going to somebody to see him and understand that this man has been sitting in prison now for what, 22 years of his
22
life.
years this month.
And
well, actually, February was 22 years in prison on this charge, but this month is 22 years. No, he was convicted in October. So he says he was arrested in February. I think he was moved to Stillwater in April. Anyways, we're at 22 years. October would be the 22 years of the sentencing. But he's been held for 22 years as of now on the actual charge initially.
Sounds like a deal. Anything else you want to leave us with?
No, we're getting ready to release some shirts. We're preparing for court. We're anticipating to get a court date in the next coming months. Let's see, we're in April. We're hoping in the next 3 months. So we're going to start getting some shirts together to gain momentum for people that want to be there to support him. We're also going to, try to cover the last of the legal fees with that. Something else. Oh, he said he's available if you want to do this for the next few Mondays. So
Yeah, that sounds like a deal to me. Y'all just let me know what's good on your end, and like I said, we can have him on as much as he can come on, as much as he want to come on and talk. I'm all good.
Okay.
On that.
I will definitely let him know. I appreciate you, Rev. And also, one of these conversations, we want to talk about your campaign.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that. Well, tomorrow, we got our first meet and greet that is coming up in Maple Grove. So that's where we're gonna formally kick everything off to try to get the people in Minnesota to think different.
Yeah.
To put something different in their heads so we can move in a different direction versus the direction that we're going in right now. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, let me, like I said, you have the website now. So anytime you're free and you just want to chop it up, let me know. And we'll jump on and we'll talk about something. So I have no problem with that. I like talking to people versus just being the only one on here running off at the mouth. So
yeah, I got you.
With that,
send my love to Tina, and we will definitely be in touch.
Sounds like a deal. Again, appreciate it. You tell the girls I said hi, and then we'll go from there.
All right, sounds good.
All right, be good with yourself. Bye-bye now.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, people. So that's what I wanted to bring you to tonight. And I had to answer Philip Vance. Like I said, Philip Vance was one of those guys that got caught up in these prosecutors trying to make a name for themselves. He's one of the guys who got caught up in the tornado that came through when they start looking for people to stick in jail so they can put a stamp on their names. So when they're going up in the rise in politics, that's basically what they have all done when it comes to black men. So when we talk about this stuff, that's the type of stuff that I try to get you guys to understand, not just the top surface of this thing. When you're just looking at it going, well, there's no police brutality. He should just comply. Well, when they comply and then they get in front of a prosecutor and the prosecutor and the police put lies together, that's what happened. 22 years of somebody's life has went down the drain because of a prosecutor who wants to be all of that in a bag of chips. And a police department that will lie. If, like I said, y'all look it up for yourself. Don't take my word for things that I say. But everything that I say to you, you can look it up. The Dakota County, look up, please, ma'am and sir, look up the gang task force. They were so corrupt. They were so corrupt. They had to disband this group of guys, people. And a lot of black men were swept up in the foul things that they did. But they won't tell you that. Kathy Keenum will not tell you that part. Look it up for yourself. Don't take my word for it. Don't just take my word for things. But anything that I tell you, you can look it up. You can do the research yourself if you want to. If you want to. A lot of people don't want to. A lot of people want to go, it is what it is, and walk away from it. And walk away from something that's wrong. Look up the DOJ report for the Minneapolis Police Department. Look up, matter of fact, everybody talking about, Derek should be set free. Look up Derek Chauvin's record. Derek was not an angel of a policeman. He was not. Look up the Christmas tree that the 4th precinct put up in the police station. Look up the racist Christmas tree. No, there's no other police department that would do something that foul. that would do something. Look it up for yourself. Type it in the computer that you have, the phone that you have. Type this stuff in there. Now, I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just giving you facts. I'm giving you something you can look up and go, oh, wow. And if you want to just flush it down the toilet, that's fine. But at least you know. At least you can sit there and say, I kind of get where he's coming from. Because that's what usually happens. I say things, people get mad, but then they think about it, and then they go, yeah, I got it. But I'm still mad at him. And that's cool. I'm fine with that. At least you know. At least you know. But again, I just want to thank Philip for coming in and hanging out. I want to thank Philip for coming up and hanging out. But hey, I've got to answer a question for someone tonight before we get off here. So I'm going to keep you for probably another 10 minutes. But I got to answer this question. And like I said, the things that I say is not to change your mind. The things that I say is for you to think about. It's for you to think about. It's for you to think about. Now, the question that was asked of me, and I told her that I cannot answer that question on Twitter because the questions you ask is a deep dive question. And the one thing that I don't like doing is I don't like answering religious or questions about the Bible on Twitter because I like to give you context in my answers and why I say what I say about something. Correct? So I was asked today, hold on, we're going to start here. I was asked yesterday about Mary. And the question was, do you believe in the dignity of Mary? And I said no. And I've got a feeling the person was asking me this question because they're Catholic. Right? But I'm going to start off this way. In your Bible tells you that Mary and Jesus and the family was at a wedding. And at that wedding, they had wine. And all of a sudden, they ran out of wine, correct? So they go to Mary and say, hey, we're out of wine. Mary goes to Jesus and says, hey, there's no more wine. Because Mary pretty much knew what Jesus can do. Jesus decided, I'm going to help you out. And so Mary says to the people, do whatever he says. She said, do whatever he says. Right? Jesus had them get some water in these barrels, and he turned water to wine. Now, that was an example in the Bible where Mary went to Jesus to help somebody. That was the only place in the Bible that Mary goes to Jesus to get help. The only place that I see. The Bible also tells us that point blank in 1 Timothy, right? So I go to 1 Timothy. Here, hold on one second. That's why I say anytime I talk about the Bible, I make sure that I give you straight Bible. I don't give you anything but straight Bible. But if you go to 1 Timothy 2 and 12, 1 Timothy 2 and 12. 1 Timothy 2 and 11. Hold on, give me a little Bible tonight. The Bible said, let the woman learn in silence. Let the woman learn in silence, meaning the woman don't have no power in a church. Women don't have no power in a church. So if a woman don't have any power, Mary doesn't have power. If a woman, no, that's what the Bible, right? That's what it said. Look it up for yourself. It said, let the woman learn in silence with all of supplication. Mary does. She's got to learn, but she don't have any power to do anything. Okay. So, but if we go to John 14:6, right? Let's go to John 4. Hold on. Let's go to John 14:6. Did I say? Yeah, I said John 14:6. The Bible tells us, John 14:6. Here we go. John 14:6. The Bible tells us, I am the way, the truth, and the light. It said, no man cometh unto the Father but by me. In other words, Jesus is saying, I'm the only way that you're going to get to God. I'm the only way you're going to get to the Father. There is no middleman. Now, hold on. Before I go on, I'm going to say it again. You believe what you want to believe. I'm not telling you not to believe that. But my book tells me that there is no middleman. There's Jesus. That's what it says, right? John 14:6. I'm the truth and the light. No man gets to the Father but by me. So what I'm saying is, the reason I said no about the question about Mary is I know some people, you get your beads and you pray to Mary. This book, I've never read any other book but this one. So when I'm giving you my 2 cents, it's from the book that I read. So if somebody got mad at me because I said no to that, I do not use rosemary, and Mary is not my channel to God. My channel to God is what this book says. No man gets to the Father except by me. That's what it says. If in your book, if it says different, that's cool. I'm not telling you not to believe your book. That's not what this is about. I was asked a question, and I wanted to make sure that through Scripture, I show you exactly why I said no. Through Scripture. Not what I think, not how I felt at the moment, but through Scripture. I gave you straight Bible and explaining to you why I said no to there is no other way that I am going to get to heaven but through Jesus. It's not going to be Rosemary, and it's not going to be Mary. Period, point blank. If you see it different, stay with the way that you see it. But I have to go with what I read daily. So I just wanted to break that down real quick before we got off here, because I did tell that person that I would answer their question in a way that it should be answered through Scripture. Right? Anyway, other than that, people, I'm done. I hope everybody had an awesome Easter and everybody, munched really, really good, because I know I did. Boy, you talking about somebody threw down on yesterday. I had to give up. I had to give up the plant food for a little bit. And for those who another thing, for those who asked, I just want to again thank you for asking how I'm doing, for thinking of me. I so trust me when you're going through things, and y'all know this. When you're going through things, you always love when someone is looking out for you, asking if everything's good for you. Everything right now, everything has been good for the last couple of days, which is awesome. Brad and I are going to kick off this whole thing, and what I want people to understand is, in my heart, I wouldn't be doing this unless, I got a new person. John 11, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. And with God. Is Jesus the Word, or is the Bible the Word? Is Jesus the Word, or is the Bible the Word? Jesus is the light. The Bible is the Word. I get my word, Dr. Howard, what is it? Copperman? I do, my eyes are kind of bad, so if I'm sorry if I misdid your word, your name. But Dr. Howard, I believe the Bible is the Word. Jesus is my light on there. But your Bible, this one right here, I've got about 4 of these puppies. But this is King James Version. I use this here every now and then. I appreciate you, my friend. Hey, good question there. For those who don't know, they need to realize that through the Word, Doctor, we get Jesus. And through Jesus, he is our light and our way. That's our way. That's our way to get to where we're going to be going. And like I said, if your Bible tells you something different than what I said tonight, not trying to change your mind. Not trying to change your mind at all. I just want you to know what this one says. Every now and then I'm going to start bringing some Bible back into this here, so we can all, and I think we've been missing that. I used to have a Sunday program, but I had to stop it because we started at an 11 o'clock. We started an 8 o'clock program. I may option out of the 8 o'clock program and come back here on Sunday mornings. If you guys would like that. If you want to get some Bible on a Sunday morning, you want to hear a little 15-minute or 10-minute. I usually got about a 10-minute sermon that I was doing. I just got to get a backdrop, so I don't want to be preaching with this backdrop. Not that there's anything wrong with my back. Not that anything's wrong with my backdrops. I know a lot of people hate it, but I'll get something. You know what? What I'm going to do, I'm going to get something, and then I'm going to start my Sunday mornings over again. And I'm going to bring the Word on Sunday mornings before I head off to church with everything. Because I enjoyed that, and I miss it. And I think it's time for those who don't have a church, but still have that mindset that God is the one, but they don't get a dose of church every now and then, and they don't get, as the doctor says, Dr. Howard, they don't get the Word, doctor, so they can have some Jesus, right? But anyway, hey fam, I appreciate y'all. I thank you all very much. If you're not doing anything, Brad and I are having our meet and greet. They're in Maple Grove. I put the flyer out there, right? So if you guys not doing anything, please, ma'am and sir, I ask that you come out and hang out with us for a few minutes. Ask us questions. If there's something that you need to know, right? If there's something that you want to know, if there's a question that you have for us, please, ma'am and sir, I ask that you ask that question. Come on out and meet us. We're there in Maple Grove. You can find this here on my website and everything, and then we'll go for there. So I'll listen. I don't have a church, but by choice, I love this. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? You know what they say. Hey, as long as I got 2 or 3 in the midst, God is with us. So let me get that together. I usually about 9:00 on a Sunday morning, or you can just catch the YouTube version of it. But yeah, man, I'll let me get some stuff together. I would love to get back into, like I said, having a online, just a small, quick service in the morning. To get everybody's week going. If there's any questions, we can talk about it. You got something you want to know about the Bible that I can help you out with, I'll be more than happy to do that also, because it's about time that we get back to the place that God intended us all to be. So in Malachi, right? So in Malachi, there's a question in Malachi. So if you was to go to Malachi and read Malachi, but go to Malachi 2 and 10, and it asks a simple question in Malachi. And the question asks, do you believe if he made us all? Do you believe if he made us all? If you read your Bible, you realize that we are all one. Even though we run around and we separate ourselves, and this type people go over here, and this type people go over here, and this type people go over here, once you get into your Bible and start realizing it, and it took me a while to understand certain things in the Bible, and it took me a while to be able to take this Bible, read it, and then break it down, interpret it, and give it to you. But the main thing that I get out of the Bible every single time I read it, every single time it comes to me, is he wants us to be one. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter if you're rich. It doesn't matter if you're poor. It doesn't matter where you come from, your family, and this here. He's basically saying, in the beginning, just like the doctor says, God created the heaven and earth. Not only did he create the heaven and earth, he created everything that walks upon that earth. And being sisters and brothers of this earth, we shouldn't be treating each other the way that we treat each other. We shouldn't, right? And we all know that. Here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about it. We know this. What I'm saying is right. There's nobody out there that can sit there and go, Rev is wrong on this one. I want to dispute what he says. I want to debate him. I would love to debate you on this. Now, this, I can debate people. I'm not a good debater. That's why I don't debate people. I just have conversations, right? Because I can't debate people. Just can't do it. But I can have a conversation with you. But when it's all said and done, the bottom line comes down to it. It's point blank. We I believe that's why things are going the way that they are now. And don't get me wrong, I understand, right? Satan decided to try to take over. God said, you can go and your minions can go. He go, I'm going to put you on earth. Thanks, God. Appreciate that. So he comes down and starts trouble, right? He comes down and say, hey, if you really want to sin, hang out with me. No, I know this. I know you're sitting there going, well, how do Rev know about Satan? Oh, I tried to out Satan. I tried to take Satan's job. I told you, look, no. Hold on now. I don't want y'all to sit here and act like, be like, oh, he's been that good all this time. No, People, I've made myself perfectly clear. Perfectly clear. I tried to be better than the devil. When the devil won't answer your phone no more, you know something's wrong with you. Right here. But going on 20 years ago, I fell into probably the worst dirt there ever can be. And I dirtied myself up really, really good, to the point that I was like, God, there's no way in the world that God wants somebody like me. There's no way in the world. So I might as well just stay dirty. I might as well just stay filthy, smelly, stinky. But to my surprise, and even though I've been to church, but still, to my surprise, he's like, if you give me your heart, your mind, your spirit, and your soul, he said, I will do something with you. That's what I did. And here I am. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't think that I'm not still, no, like, people going to sit there and go, oh, that means he's not we're all sinners. We're all sinners. We're all sinners. Y'all think every time you turn around, you see one of these here $1 million pastors getting themselves in trouble. Oh, I try every day not to do things wrong, but I find myself doing it. Just like I am no different than anybody else. I just have dedicated. I've done everything I possibly can do to wrap my arms around Jesus' leg. And when he's walking, you know, you pulling somebody on they holding on. I've done that. That's me. That's me. And he's forgiven me for the things that I've done back there. I know that. And I'm good. And that's why I can talk about it. It's like the lady in the well. Jesus shows up and asks this lady for some water. The lady's like, I can't give you no water. You know we shouldn't be talking to each other. But Jesus told this lady everything about her. And she went back and she told everybody. And when he saved me the way he did, I'm telling everybody. I will not stop talking about him. His name will always be in my mouth. Always. Because, like I said, I know who I was. And even the people, even the people that I used to hang out with won't hang out with me. He took everything that was bad out of my life, whether it was friends, whether it was weed, whether it was alcohol, whether it was women, whether it was bad driving. Well, no, I speeding in car, you know, I still got that part. That I don't think that's ever going to leave me. But everything else, he decided to say, you don't need this stuff. And it was hard to give up. It was, boy, you talking about sweating but look at me today. He's put a foundation in front of me. He put good people in front. I've got the friends I got now are unbelievable. The people that I deal with now are unbelievable. The places I get to go now are unbelievable. The people I get to help. There's no way. 20 years ago, there's no way in the world anybody who knew me would have been like, that dude one day is going to be out there literally raising money, getting food, going to people's houses, going into drug houses to get people out of it. That dude. There's no way in the world you would have been. If you'd have known me back then, that you'd have been like, no. Oh, no. He wouldn't be at the Capitol fighting for people. He wouldn't be out 4 o'clock in the morning looking for young women with their mom and dad trying to find these little girls who's out here in these streets. He wouldn't be on the corners talking to these kids, trying to tell these kids to go home and things, and getting threatened and all this here type of stuff. He wouldn't be helping a mother who just got beat up by her boyfriend. We raise enough money to put her in a hotel room until her family can come in from another state to get her to take her back home. Not that guy. That guy wouldn't be raising money to get wheelchairs for veterans. Not him. God. No, listen to me when I tell y'all this. Y'all not understanding me. God decided to take a dirty rich and put a new word in it, like the doctor said, word, to put a word in his mouth. And not only that, he gave me the opportunity to read this book, interpret it, and then give it to you. I never read the Bible. I don't read the Bible for. Only thing is in there is he's telling me not to do the things that I really, really enjoy doing. Sodom and Gomorrah, right? But if you're going through something, I'm a living witness. I'm a living witness. If you're going through it, if you decide that, you know what, I'm going to give it up to him. All of it. I'm not going to take any of the bad stuff. I'm going to empty my pockets. All my garbage is going to go right here to God, and I'm going to pray on it. And then once I'm done praying, I got up and I walked away from it. And like I said, it was hard, but I walked away from it. And he said, I'm going to give you this. I'm not going to give you more than you can handle, but I'm going to give you this, and this. And here I am. So I appreciate each and every one of you. I thank you guys so much, especially the fam who every single time I asked for something, you guys were able to help me out and get that done for me. So I appreciate y'all. I really, really honestly do. So anyway, we're going to end the night like we always end the night, realizing and understanding that we serve a mighty God, an unbelievable God, an awesome God. We serve a God that, because of his grace and his mercy, he decided on yesterday. And y'all know what you was doing on yesterday. You know what you was doing yesterday. Y'all was thanking him for laying down his one and only, that got up with all power in his hand, that because you are a sinner, yes, you are, each and every one of you that's under the sound of my voice right now, you're sinners. Because you're a sinner, gave you somebody who took it all for each and every one of us. Yeah, he did. And we thank him each and every day that we get up with a breath. We thank him each and every day that we get up to be able to see. We thank him each and every day that we get up and we get to move our limbs like this here. We thank him each and every day that we get up and we get to see the beautifulness that he put out here for us. We thank him for that. And because of that, each and every one of us should have a smile on our face. And y'all know what we do with those smiles. We take them out and we smile at somebody. So somebody smile back at you. Hey, fam, y'all have a good one. Like I said, if you're not doing anything, please, ma'am and sir, come out to Maple Grove. I put the address and everything is on that little flyer thing. Come on out and hang out with us for a little bit. You never know. You may like something that I say. Right? Y'all have a good night. Peace, fam. I'm out.